And high hopes for this evening, Karen.
Well, it's back to square one, Larry. In the American League Western Division, the Royals tied things up last night by shutting down California 4-0. And one of the men responsible for that was the starting pitcher, Blaylock, who held the Angels to just 3 hits as he went the distance. And Bud, I have to ask you, last night, was it like having the old form again? Do you feel that you were pitching as well as you had last year?
Well, last night definitely was a good game for me. It did remind me of some of the things I did last year. Unfortunately, I didn't do enough of that this year, but hopefully I'll have a few more chances next couple weeks.
But what has been the reason you've struggled? Is it something mechanical, or is it something more as far as concentration?
Well, it's a number of things. You know, Gary and I have talked about it. We really couldn't pinpoint it. You know, you can reel off a number of things and maybe not be too far off on any of them.
Thank you, Bud, for joining us. Also with us, if Gary Blaylock doesn't mind, I just pulled him off the field, is the pitching coach. And you've worked with Bud, and what has it been all season long from your standpoint that you could see why he hasn't been able to regain the form that he did have last night?
Well, strange things happen, Karen. A lot of times, you know, that you can't really put your finger on. As Bud said, it's tough. You know, he come off a good year last year, and he was so consistent last year, and everybody expects him to be that way this year. I think it's just been a matter of a few pitches each game, you know, which makes it difficult to pinpoint. Sometimes it's been location. It's never been his stuff. I think it's been more location than anything making these pitches.
And finally, what about the pitchers that you have? 5 starting pitchers now. Every one of them have at least won 10 games. Would you say this is one of the best staffs the Royals have ever had?
Well, you know, I'd have to do a little research on that, but certainly we have some of the better young pitchers coming around, and these fellows are still young yet, you know, and they're still learning while pitching in the big leagues, which is a credit to them, you know. And I just think we've got brighter things to look forward to out of them.
Well, Gary, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you coming over here on quick notice. Thank you. As for tonight's game, California will start Don Sutton against the Royals' left-hander Danny Jackson. Now let's turn over to the Eastern Division. Both the Yankees and the Blue Jays lost last night, so the standings show Toronto with a 4-game lead with just 4 games left to play. Now let's go to the National League Western Division. The race is all over there. The Dodgers clinched the title last night with a 9-3 victory over Atlanta. It was Mike Marshall's 2-run homer to left field in the 4th that guaranteed the win. Then in the Eastern Division, the Mets have closed in on the St. Louis Cardinals. New York beat St. Louis 5-2. The Cardinals are now down to a 1-game lead and the go-ahead-to-head once again tonight. St. Louis isn't giving up yet. They know they still have an advantage.
This is baseball. You know, you got to get other teams credit. You know, you win some and you lose some, and they came in here and they played some pretty good baseball, and they're kind of on a high right now, I guess you would say, and they're playing good baseball. They're good pitching and getting the key hits, and we're not getting the key hits, and that's baseball. Hopefully these last 4 games we can reach back and, like I said, and come back strong.
Well, that's it from the ballpark, where once again the Royals will square off against California.
Here's what's happening at 6 o'clock. As we first told you at 5, a Kansas City, Missouri firefighter was needlessly injured battling a house fire with little available water this morning. Damage to the house at 5306 Brooklyn is estimated at $20,000. Fire officials are pointing the finger tonight at the water department, saying they were partly to blame. Channel 9's Brenda Washington has the story.
Kansas City firefighters rushed to the scene of a house fire on 53rd and Brooklyn this morning, only to find water to the neighborhood turned off. Water department crews were busy repairing a main valve. Firefighters used available water from pumper trucks.